Singing for me has in large part been a process of challenging and overcoming myths. So when people look at some of my recent videos and say, why aren't you just doing a high note video? I must say that the process of looking at the underlying premises of society that undermine our ability to sing is part of coming up with higher notes. I've gotten this far, I think, because I haven't always just believed the most commonly circulated versions of the truth. And anyone trying to do, in particular, flageolet or whistle note registers has to develop his or her own technique in large measure, because there's not a lot of instruction as to how to do it, and even what's available often doesn't help, because it might work for somebody else but not for the particular person trying it. It's a process of exploration and looking into the ways that one might have been misinformed in the past and trying to overcome them. So I'm trying to document my progress as a singer and as other things by looking at what I've discovered and what I've found out to be not as true as I thought. And this is not necessarily always the fun part. I like finding things out for their own sake, doing investigations of various kinds. And I think it's important to have some curiosity about what we believe and why we believe it, and where it's come from. And the Bible has many layers of these deceptions. It's not only something that could be considered by some people to be a collection of myths, but there are myths layered on top of that about what it really says. So you have to cut through one layer after another of what you've been told that is not really, in my opinion, a real reflection of what's in the book. So part of this is that on YouTube we see this version of deification of people and of the system itself that is not helpful in developing one's voice as I see it. The idea that you can be all-seeing, all-knowing, all-present, and all-powerful by taking part in this fantasy called Google is not conducive to living, to having your property rights be respected, or to developing your voice. Because if somebody who wants to just have access to everything, be everywhere, know everything, supposedly, has to be taking somebody else's property. Some people, when they see this system, are not going to put their best stuff out there. But in large measure, I'm being one of them. Just saying, well, this can be stolen. Why the hell should I put anything up on YouTube or Google? So in that way, you're not really, by taking part in these massive channels that seem to be funneling and filtering everything worthwhile on the internet into one place where you can see it, you're not really being all-seeing, all-knowing, all-powerful, and all the rest. Because that very system undercuts what's available on the internet and distorts it and makes it of less value by the time it gets to you, if you're seeing it through the eyes of these people who just collect and copy and compile stuff onto one channel without the consent of the uploaders, or without conveying what is most valuable in the material of the original uploaders. So that's why I've been looking at some of these cases, and I'll try to show in more detail in the future how, when you look for something about life and just being able to stay alive and protect your property, when you search for it, it won't come up in the search.